I probably feel like I do get a little bit frustrated at the how much injuries are talked about for me, and I realize that I've had 2 major surgeries in the last 3 years, so that's justified. But I can't do like an interview these days or something without someone saying, "Oh, the injuries or this or that."
Yeah,
mate, I've actually played over 200 games in the last 10 years, so it's about 20 a season. I must be on the field a reasonable amount of the time, but sort of been stuck with a tag, I've got to try to shake that. Like I haven't been into this season other than just a little MCL tweak, which is, I was out for 2 weeks, so you wouldn't really, it's just a niggle. But it doesn't change things. The neck was
filthy.
Hey?
Filthy with the injury tag.
I had one the other day, and they just said, no one's had to pick themselves up off the ground more than you. The amount of injuries you've had. I was going, hold up, mate. It's not that bad.
I guess it's the big neck one, really, isn't it? That everyone sort of remembers you from, because that was one where people were really doubting whether you'd be able to return to the game or not, and how you've done it's been pretty inspirational. Yeah,
I think you're right. That one was just a really unfortunate accident. It was an accident, really. It was timing. Just so many things that, and rear. I went in to clean a guy out. I sort of lined him up early. Thought I'll go in hard here, and just as I had, I think it was Ryan Crotty had cleaned him from the other side, so it just changed the position of his hip, and I was targeting sort of his rib area, and as a result, my head went straight into his hip bone, and I just felt like a crunch. I lay there. I thought I was just a bit dazed, a bit concussed and knocked out, and then I just had a massive, intense pins and needles all down my right arm. But I've had stingers before, but it was more. It was worse than that.
Yeah.
But it did go away. And then I remember seeing the doctors were there, and I remember seeing Bodie there, and they bring out that little golf cart thing to put me on, and I was like, no, there's no way. It's not that bad. I know what's happened. I'm knocked out. So I asked Bodie to pull me up, and he pulled me up, and then we walked off. I sort of knew when I was walking off, man, I feel pretty ginger here. Then we went out the back of the stadium. They wanted to put me on some gas. I said, it's not too bad, I think. And they said, we want to take you to hospital. I was going, what the? Man, this is annoying. But I must have had so much adrenaline, and just like the fact I was warm and on the field, because by the time I got in the ambulance and we were on the way to the hospital, man, the pain started to kick in big time. Yeah. And but not at any point did you think, I've fractured my neck, because no one knows what that feels like, really, unless you've been through it. So I was like, wow, this is a bit sore. Wanting to know how the boys were getting on in the game, because it was a tight game. But even once we got to the hospital, I was sitting up. I had to go in for an X-ray. I was lying down in a lot of pain, but swing myself back up and lie on the bed, had my phone. And then next minute, doctors and nurses rush in and put a brace around me and start running their hands over my feet. Can you feel this? Can you feel that? Far out. What's going on now? And that was the moment they said, you've broken your neck and your vertebrae in 2 places. It's a fracture dislocation, actually. So if your vertebrae is like each vertebrae is like a round circle almost. Broken it in 2 places, and that piece is dislocated forward. But they said you're going to. People ask if I was scared or what, but because at no point I couldn't feel my legs or feet or anything, and then I was already in their care. At no point did I sort of feel like I was going to go backwards from where I was. So I didn't really have that massive fear of, am I not going to be able to walk or anything like that. I did just have the worry in the back of my head that I wasn't going to be able to play rugby again. But in that moment, it didn't seem that important either, considering the injury. Yeah.
And is it true that you were like only your really strong neck, which you do have a massively strong neck, saved you from not being able to walk.
Yeah, it is. And that was so the surgeon showed me 2 x-rays. This was after surgery. One was mine and one was a 15-year-old South African boy, and they're almost identical. And that poor fella, he's in a wheelchair now for the rest of his life. And the difference was that I had all this sort of built up muscle and strength around my neck and upper back. So when my body almost went into shock and all those muscles just spasmed up and stopped that fractured, that dislocation piece from going any further or moving around and damaging my spinal cord. So that was a bit of a sobering moment, I think, and a realization of how lucky I was, or how close I could have been to being just like that 15-year-old South African boy.
Right, that's crazy.
It is crazy, and it makes you straight away made me appreciate and thankful for all the neck and strength work that the trainers get you doing.
Yeah. Had you done extra? You do have a very strong, big, thick neck. Have you done extra neck work from a young age, or is this all part of the hay bale routine?
It's like Bodie's 6-week speed program. 6-week
neck strength.
Nah, honestly, I think it's just one of those things that I almost genetically. I wouldn't have said it was a genetic gift up until getting an injury, because I used to get so much shit from the boys about it, and then whenever we have outfitting, getting your number ones fitted, they'll be like, "Oh, you're be about an XL," and I said, "No, try 3XL." And so it's like swimming on me. It just fits my neck, and then I have to move the button a bit further and taper in the rest of the shirt. But yeah, it turns out to be a bit of a blessing, and I didn't do any more neck strength work than anyone else leading up to the injury. And I probably only do a little bit more now. Nick Gill said, "Mate, you don't need to overdo it. Like, your neck was strong beforehand, and that's what saved you. You don't need to, be going all out. Just keep doing what you're doing." So I keep ticking away at it. But we did neck strength testing the other day, and it's up there with the props neck strength. So I think it's just one of those things.
No doubt.
I'm lucky.
And then when you're coming back from a fractured neck, like, how hard's this one? This is the one that must be, once you feel like it's recovered, how do you go about being able to throw your body into contact, knowing that what you've been through?
If I'm honest, I think, like, I had my shoulder surgery last year. I found the shoulder rehab process more difficult than my neck one, for different reasons. But my shoulder surgery was a major. I ended up having 4 operations sort of tied into one, but just the small rehab work and the almost micro gains that, or sometimes feeling like I wasn't making any gains by the end of the week, and chipping away at that, compared to my neck, because it was a bone, it just needed time to heal. But the biggest hurdle I had to overcome was just the mental one of getting back and playing. Because I was 3 months in a neck brace, where I couldn't do anything. Was told not to lift anything more than 3 kilos. So this time I've been so sort of almost precious with my body, and so I've become so fragile and with things. So I just had to build my way back up to throw myself around. Like, I remember the first time I got the all clearance from the surgeon that I can get back into rugby training. The physio's like, "Oh, we just want you to be on your knees and then fall to the ground." And it's like, oh, and that was such a mental hurdle for myself, because I'd just been looking after it so well. I was like, "Will I be all right?" And then there was just all these little hurdles from there of once I'd done that, and it's all in your mind. Once I've done that, I'm okay doing that. Maybe I'm okay doing this. But each time it don't feel any easier than the next step or the last step. And right up until the point that you're tackling it. I got Tumbai Matson to thank for he spent hours with me working on he was our defense coach at the Chiefs at the time, up on the mats, doing tackle practice with him to the point that I was really confident. And I was confident going into my first game. I was off the bench versus the Blues and got on earlier than I'd anticipated because there's a couple of injuries. But I got out there and I wasn't that confident, man. I was like running around. I couldn't help but think about it going into collisions. And when I watched the game, you can't tell that I'm hesitant, but in my mind, I was hesitant. Yeah. And then I thought after that, man, this is going to take maybe a bit longer, a bit harder than I thought. I've always had the attitude after an injury, like if you're going to play, you just got to rip in. Like you just got to go hard from the outset and not think about it, because if you are, but I couldn't help but think about it. It was weird. I never had that issue before. The next week I got named to start, and so I just had the same attitude. Like I've just got to rip in, and I don't know why exactly, but I got over it that second game straight away. It wasn't in my head. Yeah, and then every now and then I'll find myself in a similar clean out position. And it's almost, I don't know, it must be like a line in my memory path in my brain, traumatic one of knowing that I've been in this position before and it's no good. But I'm also a little bit better around self-preservation. I think I got concussed a few times earlier in my career because I'd just go hard into things and try and like dominate every collision, or just try and win every moment I could. And now, because I've had to, I just have tried to pick moments a little bit better. You don't have to smoke everyone. I remember it's a short line out against Aussie. David Pocock's 10 metres back. I'm 10 metres back. I knew he was getting the ball. I just sprinted as hard as I could and tried to smoke him. And he's just he's a ball of muscle, and I collected his hip, and then I was concussed. One of my coaches sat me down and goes, "Look at this collision. Do you really think this is a good one to try and win? You just got to make the tackle here. You don't have to try and send him backwards." And I was like, again, it was a moment that I was like, it makes a lot of sense here. I've got to start trying to play a bit smarter.
Mate, that's fascinating. Fascinating hearing the mind battle coming back from injury. And I mean, you obviously throw your body, and you have to throw your body into contact. Hey, you definitely have a reckless regard for your body when you watch you play. So to have that mindset is so important for you to be able to perform, I guess.
Yeah, it's exactly like I've sort of thought that that's how I play. That's how I play well. And it comes with that high risk. But and I wasn't sure if I'd be able to sort of make those decisions in game.
Yeah.
But I have learnt to. Yeah, luckily. Hopefully it can take another 3, 4, 5 years onto my career.